Hey folks, good morning. How's everybody today? Hope everybody's doing well. So we're Tuesday, we're here for our live show. Um, so I just wanted to start off by letting everybody know that I've got a really good safety tip for everybody who does their laundry outside of their home. So if you have to go outside your door at all to go and do your laundry, morning Tracy, I just want everybody to make sure that you lock your door. Bring a key with you to get back into the house. Don't just leave it unlocked because you're going to be gone for a quick second and you're just running out the door to go throw the laundry into the dryer. I was recently watching some crime shows, and that was a way that some of these perpetrators got into the homes, and I have done that myself. My laundry is just downstairs. I live in an apartment building, so it's really close. I'm on the main floor, but I do have to go outside of my door and downstairs into the basement where I'm no longer monitoring my door and I don't know if anyone's come in or out. So these perpetrators literally would hang out watching these women. And then when they went back in, he was inside their home, and then heinous, brutal things happened to them. So I thought it would be important to share that if nobody else has watched the shows that I was watching and maybe didn't know about this, or just sort of took for granted that they live in a good area and they didn't think that anything like this would ever happen. Well, these women were just very casually doing their laundry, quietly in their home, and they just ran out the door quick to go and do that laundry, and in popped in a perpetrator in the meantime. When they got back, it was deadly. So let's try to stay safe out there in sharing those kind of tips with each other so that that doesn't happen to us, right? I mean, so now every time I walk out my door, I literally take my keys with me. It doesn't matter if I'm just going out to check the mailbox or if I'm just going to go downstairs and put the laundry in the dryer. I'm going to bring my keys because you never know who could be lurking right there and could pop into your door without you even knowing, and it only took 2 seconds. So I thought I'd share that tidbit first off. That was something that I really wanted to share with the female viewers of mine. um, and then the other thing I wanted to talk about is this Kyle Genke Annis person who was caught robbing the Kloss family home back at the end of October. Now, this guy, he's like really weird. I did a little bit of research on him. You also live in an apartment building. See, and did you know that, Tracy? Or is that brand new information kind of thing where you never thought of that before? You know what I mean? Because that's what I was kind of hoping when I told people about this, is that people would be like how I felt when I saw it. I was like, eye opener. Whoa, maybe it doesn't matter how close I'm going to go and do something. You don't know how crazy people are that live around you or anything, right? So, and like I said, these people were lurking, like these perpetrators were lurking literally outside their door. So, like, I'm curious, Tracy, have you ever heard that before? Have you seen that before? Or is that something that you already do as a, precaution, or? So this Kyle Genke Annis, whoever this person is, I did a little bit of research on him. You've never thought of it before? Okay, see, that's what I was hopeful for. I was hopeful that I'd get on here and I'd share that tidbit or that that piece of information that I saw that made me open my eyes, like, whoa, if that could happen to them. And these women actually lived in homes, so the laundry was, like, I guess, outside and around at the back or something. So I would imagine that it's a divided home where the laundry room is at one spot and maybe it's two or three residences in one home, and they all share the laundry. Now, it literally took 2 seconds for this guy to watch them go outside their door, and he quickly went inside. And then when they came back, it was just deadly. Good morning, Shelly. How are ya? Hey, Lisa. They're also sliding into gals' cars. Wow, that's scary. I never would have thought of that either. So maybe keep your doors locked all the time too, right? I mean, it's good to share these little tidbits with each other if you're not on top of things like this, and for me personally, like I never would have thought about some of those things. So seeing those stories just makes me realize, you know, to pay attention to those things so that doesn't happen to me. I did my nails last night. Pretty. But anyways, you knew that stuff like that happened, but you never gave it much thought. Nowadays, more careful. Yeah, I think we have to be, right? Good morning, Nancy. How are you doing today, girl? How's life? Yes, that's so true though, right? Sometimes we don't think about things in different ways, and then somebody else hears or sees something and we're able to share it with other people, and it's like we have like that aha moment of, wow, I never thought of it like that. So it's a good thing. So back to this, sharing is a good thing. Yeah, that's true. Nothing wrong with being aware. That's very true. Ounce of prevention. Yeah, no kidding. Um, wow. So if anybody doesn't know who this gentleman is, this is the gentleman that was caught robbing the Kloss family home, and this was end of October. So I have the arrest affidavit, and in it, it states that, he was gathering clothing items because he wanted to know what size Jamie Kloss was. Now, the reason that I'm going to keep this story on the front lines is because I don't feel like this girl has any family left in a sense. I don't know if her extended family, such as aunts and uncles, are going to actually care enough to keep this going or what. I have no idea. I don't know who they are and I've never spoken to them. But knowing that she has no mom and no dad, and she's, a single child type thing, I feel like it's kind of my duty to keep her on the front lines, keep her remembered, keep her picture out there so that maybe somebody might recognize her or see her somewhere or something and report it and she could be saved. So, big grand plan. I don't know how well that'll work out, but I feel like I'm doing my part in the sense of, keeping her face out there. I take it safety measures stuff. Nancy, I was talking specifically about this. Hey, Regine. I was talking specifically about these cases that I recently watched of perpetrators that would sit outside of somebody's place, or I guess they would notice somebody in this place. Maybe they live near them or whatever, and they would see them, a home alone, and then leaving their home, like leaving out their front door, leaving their door open to go around the side of the house or at the back of the house, go do some laundry or whatever it is they needed to leave to go outside their door. Suddenly the perpetrator was coming right back in, and then deadly situations were happening. Thanks so much for the compliment on the nails. I love keeping up I'm actually an esthetician by trade. And then in 2016, I decided to go the legal route and get some legal knowledge. I really wanted to have that under my belt, so to speak. I felt that it would be really, really helpful in my own personal life. Oh, you're talking about Nancy. You're talking about the Jenkins guy. Yes, yeah. Sorry, when you throw like a hole out there, I'm like, huh? What? What happened? I'm trying to read up the comments. Did somebody say something? Anyways, um, you know what? It's very weird that this guy did what he did. Yes, totally. But what I was originally talking about was the fact that these perps are going in while women are walking out of their door, leaving their door unlocked, and that it's really important for you guys to just take your keys with you. I've started to do this and I thought I should share it with all of you guys. I used to just leave my door unlocked because my laundry room's right below me. So I would just run down there and go throw my laundry in and then come back upstairs, and my door it's an automatic. You can turn the lock so that it sticks and it holds it in, or you can flip it up and it stays open. So when you close the door, it automatically locks, right? So when I saw that these women were just casually doing their laundry, not really even thinking about anything, I thought, holy crap, that's me. And then I saw what happened and I thought, you know what, this is a really good tip to share with all people who live alone. You know, it's not necessarily even women because there's some men out there too who are targeted as well. Um, you know, it's just like nobody's really safe. So you might as well protect yourself and stay safe, you know, and stay smart about it. So that's where that came from, Nancy, for the comments and stuff. And then this Kyle guy, like he goes in and breaks into the Kloss family home. And he says that the reason that he's stealing the clothes for of Jamie Kloss is because he wants to know her size. I mean, what the hell do you need to know what size this girl is? And, you know, okay, so like I don't judge people at all. This guy's a cross dresser, he's transgender, he's wanting a sex change. I actually found a GoFundMe page of his. If you guys have never, let me turn up the brightness on my phone first. That might help for everybody to see that. But check this out. So this is the description that he actually put. Focus. No, it's too bright or what? It might be too bright. Let me turn it down. Oh, no, wait, maybe. Let me turn it down. Okay, so the thing is, though, is that it doesn't really matter that this guy has all these extracurricular activities of whatever it is that he wants to do. I don't really care about any of that. What concerns me is that he was in there stealing clothing of a 13-year-old that honestly I don't feel like he could ever fit. So why wasn't he in there stealing the clothing of the mother, the woman whose clothing he may have actually fit, right? So here it says, you guys, on his because this is his GoFundMe page, and it states, because I don't feel right in this body, I need to become a female, and it's been something I've been wanting for years. So, you know, I feel like there's something mentally not right with this guy, that he doesn't feel right. But then he's in their home in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, stealing only Jamie Kloss's clothes, whom he does not even fit. So, I mean, I don't understand. I get it that he was in jail. So he has an alibi for the actual crime. He was not the one that committed the crime. He did not shoot and kill them or kidnap Jamie. We get that. But maybe he had something to do with it, or he knows somebody who had something to do with it in the fact that he's stealing her clothes. I mean, what was he going to do with that? Or what did he need with that? It doesn't make any sense. Hey, Critters Heartland. Hey, Sunkissed. You made it. Hey, guys. That's okay. I say guys all the time, even though I know that a lot of you viewers are girls. It just doesn't sound like you're not like, hey, girls. Just, I don't know, guys is very random, right? It's just, it kind of includes everybody. It's inclusive. So good idea always to take keys. Yes, yeah, that was my tip for safety for you guys because of some shows that I watch. And you know what, Shelly? I do think that this guy knows a little bit more. I really hope that they were on top of digging into his computers, digging into his phones, you know, finding out what the heck this guy, who he's talked to, what he's talked about. I've seen he had like 3 or 4 profiles, you guys, before I got to him. What by the time I got to him, he only had one, and it was very minimal. So there was like nothing on it. You don't just do stuff like that. Who goes to someone's house to steal children's clothing if you're not going to try to give those clothing to somebody or something, or you're not trying to help them in some way? I don't know. Like, there's no way that he would fit those clothes. So like the fact that he's a cross dresser and transgender and all that stuff doesn't even matter because he wouldn't even fit this little girl's clothing. So why the hell is he stealing it? That's what I want to know. You know, and I really, really wish that the officers had, you know, I don't know, done a little bit more, but I guess their hands are tied legally too. Like they can only do so much with so much suspicion and whatnot, right? Hi, Tracy. What do I need to get from you, my daughter? Pepper spray. Yeah, not a bad thing. But, like Lisa was stating that some people are literally being like, they're out at the gas station pumping their gas and somebody's crawling into their vehicle. Like, that's freaking scary. Like, you have to start checking your car every time you go get gas now. Like, honestly, just lock everything behind you guys. Stay safe in that way. I feel like if I'm not going to say that like we are warranting it or we want it to happen, but I feel like if we take those extra precautions, we're avoiding some of that tragedy or something. I mean, it's just smart, is what I'm thinking. You say guys too. Yeah, I just generalize. That's maybe, I don't know, maybe some of you guys don't like that. I don't know. But something's definitely off. Getting a Coke at the store. Nice. I forget where you're from again, Critters Heartland. How's everybody's weather this morning where you guys are, though? Today we've got snow here in Manitoba. Guys, too. Everybody's saying guys. So, okay, we blend. North Carolina, rain. Okay. Yeah, well, I thought that this Kyle guy was really interesting. Interestingly enough, that when I got onto his page, you guys, I wish this thing would just focus. You can see it says that I have two mutual friends. You see that? My jaw dropped. I was like, what? I have mutual friends with this psycho? What? Like, I'm not friends with him. As you can see, it says add friend. I'm trying to like get this thing to show you guys properly. But yeah, I immediately contacted both of these girls to ask if this Kyle guy has ever contacted them. One of the girls messaged me back and said no, that she had never spoken with him, but I have yet to hear from the second girl. So really, really interesting. But this guy's got a crazy long rap sheet too. So he's got a bunch of charges. He is due for arraignment December, I want to say 19th, it says. I should write that down because I always write down these things so that I can stay on top of the story for you guys. Sorry, my hair is all messy. But I feel like if we don't keep her on the front lines, someone else is going to just forget about her and she's not going to get found or remembered. So I feel like we have to do this. It's our duty. You missed the latest update, Karen. What was that one for, hun? I'm doing like so many different stories. So good morning, Angelique. You made it. Yay. Woo, woo. So yeah, we were just talking about Kyle Genke Annis. Yeah, my gut tells me she's alive too. That's why I guess I can't really let this go. Is like I'm just I'm just like somebody's got to help find this girl. Cold in Chicago. Oh, Karen, you're talking about Chris Watts because Chris Watts has court today. And that's this afternoon, hun. That's from what I understand, it's this afternoon. So, good morning, Elena. You made it. Yay. So, I hope that actually so December 19th is Kyle Annis's arraignment for the break and enter. Do you guys know that he could actually get a fine of up to $25,000 and he could serve 12 years in prison? 12 years, you guys. Like, holy smokes. That's a lot of time. What do you see, Shelly or Nancy? You live in Iowa, Tracy? Just moved there in June, closer to two adult children. Summer, that's cool. Just exploded. That's what makes me think that that's where this girl is. I mean, there's no point to really, killing them anymore. They want to keep them and use them and abuse them, and there's so many people out there who want to pay for that kind of crap that contributing to keeping that whole industry going. Excuse me. Sorry. Um, all his friends, yeah, all of his friends are young, pretty women. That's just really, he's really weird. I'm Angelique. I'm still waiting to hear back from the other woman that we had as a mutual friend there. I'm hoping that she responds, but she looks like she's, a busy person. Hey, free me life. You made it. Yes. Off subject. Okay. Would you do a get ready with me? I know your channel isn't about that, but interested to see. I actually have like something kind of like that, and that's like looks a la Sherry. So I don't know. I prefer keeping my clothes on, just saying. Um, there's so much more to life than sex. And, I realize that that sells, but I have a lot more dignity, and I'm not really willing to, you know, forego that in order to have success. I feel like what I'm doing is a really good thing, and that does not entail taking off the clothes. So I know that there's other people like Hannah Gessick. She was brand new at the time that I was, pretty much, and she's already got thousands and thousands of subscribers, but that's because she's always taking her clothes off. She's always half naked. She's always, so like whatever, like I get it, but I don't want to have to do that in order to be successful. So Chris Watts trial. Yeah, you know what? I am hoping that there's an arraignment for Chris Watts today. I'm hoping that he's going to plead today, though. That's my hope. Sorry, I was reading while I was talking. I should never do that because sometimes you say things in the thing that you don't even mean to say in your sentence. So, honestly, I really feel that, a lot of my viewers from the US were telling me, like, today is the day for politics, for the vote. And I feel like they're just sort of combining this Chris Watts case on that day in order to diffuse media away from him, because it's all going to be focused on politics right now, you know. And so it should be, right? I mean, you guys have your own country to run over there too. Free me life. No, that's okay, hon. Don't worry about it. I'm used to it. Lots of people have approached me for things like that. It's just not something I've ever done in my life. I've never sold myself, in a sense, if you understand what I mean. So it's just not for me, you know. You need to start doing yoga. Yeah. I like staying fit. I like doing there's a bridge in my area, and it's got a really nice incline and a decline. So I might look a little bit silly, but I put my ankle weights on and I go do that incline and decline. And then I have an elliptical here at home that, quite honestly, I really just don't use enough of. I honestly don't. It's 9 there, Nancy. Holly, you made it. 7 a.m. for Angelique. Yeah, I know, Angelique. Honestly, last time you were like, I made it at 7, and it was like already 10 or something. I was like, oh my goodness. Amanda G, I'm spot on. Nice. Well, you handled that better than I would have with Free Me Life. You know what? I'm pretty easy to roll with, and there really isn't anything that anybody can ask me or come at me with that I ever get offended about. It could be, sexual, racial, it could be, jokes or like bad humor. I mean, I'm pretty wear your heart on your sleeve type. So if I don't necessarily find it funny, well, I'm not going to laugh. I'm not going to be fake about anything, and I'm pretty honest. So I'll just tell it like it is, or how I really feel about it, and that's that. But I don't really take offense to it, you guys, because I've always been a pretty girl. Life has always been like that for me. People have constantly approached me for sex. That's all they want. Like, and it's like, get out of here. Like, I'm not interested in any of that. I want the full package. If I can't have the full package, I don't want any of the package. So that's how I am about life. What if he pleads guilty? Well, if he pleads guilty, then we're not going to have a trial because he's basically just going to admit that yes, the prosecution is going to be able to prove their case. So we might as well try to go for a plea bargain then. We might as well try to get a deal that's a lesser punishment than if we go through the full trial and the entire jury finds him guilty and he's in there for life or he's on death row now because they decided to go with, the death penalty or whatever. Because we don't actually know yet what the prosecution is going to go for. They haven't actually stated yet. So hopefully today is a plea, but who knows? If it's a plea, then, we don't have too much exciting news around the corner except for what's the judge going to decide is his punishment, right? And that depends on what that evidence is. But we'll probably hear a lot more of that information after we figure out if he's, what he's going to do. Because they have to present it all to him first and ask him to decide. Do you think you can fight this? Do you think you can prove that you didn't do all of these things, kind of thing? I was peeing your pants, Shelly. That's funny. That's funny. I'm not good with this. I have issues with learning. You have issues with learning, Holly? Aw. Kyle has a GoFundMe page for a sex change operation. I was showing everybody that, Angelique. His statement. I'll show you, Angelique, in case, because you tuned in a little bit later, so you might not have seen that. But his statement on his GoFundMe page is, because I don't feel right in this body, I need to become a female, and it's been something I've been wanting for years. That's his comment on GoFundMe. Wish this thing would focus properly. Whatever. Regardless, I feel like the guy's a little, and hey Cindy. She left a comment that was asking about your face and hair. Who left a comment about my face and hair? Sorry, what? Did I miss something? I don't know what I missed, if I missed anything at all. But my face is all natural, and so is my hair. Well, my hair is naturally blonde, but I just keep it up with highlights to hide the gray, because as you can see, there is gray. So if we hide the gray, it doesn't look that bad. But I need to do something with it today for sure. Yes, I get that, Sherry. Good quality, sensitive but brave. Yeah, I can be a little bit sensitive. I tend to sometimes have a short fuse. Sometimes it depends on the situation. And Cindy, you're saying Freemy said something about my face and hair. I think that he or she was asking about me doing like looks. I don't know if it was facial looks. I thought it was more clothing looks, like full body stuff. And so I just kind of went with what I thought that meant. Has he received any donations? Would you believe that there is a $10 donation on there, Regine? Is it Regine? Regine? I'm sorry. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, I have a GoFundMe page after getting ripped off on the vehicle that I went and bought from BC. I told you guys this last week. And I lost all my money, and I can't even get one donation. And this guy's got $10 already on there. I'm like, what? But whatever. Like, whatever. Brutal, though. You enjoy talking with me? Thanks, Holly. I think he might plead guilty. He might. He just might. And you know what? The fact that he's the one that's sitting behind bars stirring and stewing with all of this information. If he did really do it, like, it might just be smarter for him to plead guilty. If he did do all of this, you guys, I feel like he's going to try to commit suicide. I don't think he's going to live his life out in prison. I totally see this guy, copping out a life kind of thing. But like, I can't imagine having to live with what he's done either, though. So, I see it as something being super heavy on his chest, on his mind, on his shoulders, completely. They say that he has pictures of Shanann, Celeste, and Bella in his cell. And so, like, that's confusing, because if you did actually take their life, then why are you holding on to pictures of them so you can dream about them every night? I mean, it's just so weird. I know, Angelique. I couldn't believe somebody donated to that Kyle guy either. He wants spotlight off of him. Yeah, that's probably true. I tried. So, you guys, I was telling you that I maybe had an interview with somebody really close with the Watts case. However, that person isn't ready to talk yet. So we're just going to have to wait and see if they decide that they're ready one day to talk. And then maybe that will be with me. I hope so. But for now, it looks like, they just want their space, I guess. It's Regine. Yes. Okay. That's perfect. Probably someone out of the loop. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, well, I don't know if he has her, but I feel like he knows where she might be, because why else would he be stealing underwear and clothing for her and stuff that doesn't even fit him? So, of course, there's hairs everywhere. Between me and my cats, there's literally hairs everywhere. Nancy, you're saying you don't see gray. I look like Breck Girl from the 70s. Okay, cool. You guys are funny. You guys are agreeing. I honestly feel, Nancy, that you're right with that. I feel like she's stuck in the sex trafficking industry right now because it's huge. It's huge everywhere. It's here in Canada. It's huge in the US. I know it is. A lot of those cases are happening over there, but there are some that are happening here too. Like right here in my province here. Like, so if it's happening here, I mean, there's so many cases that it's already happened with all around the world. So I totally think that Chris Watts is going to cop out after all of this. I think he's not going to be able to handle having gone from making the original 140,000 that he was making a year, down to a jail cell 4x6, no nothing. I don't know, man. I don't see him having like the longest of life and trying to be happy in there and stuff and waiting for parole date, if that's even an option, or just waiting for death row. I don't know. He doesn't seem like the type of person that would sit behind bars easily, Yeah, you know what? Angelique is right. Kyle had a lot more Facebook pages, and they're all gone except for the one which has nothing on it. He's posing as a female. I don't doubt it, Yes, Nancy. Yeah, because he is a known cross dresser. He was actually found at the Kloss home in a dress and a hat, like he was dressed like a woman. when he was arrested for the robbery of the Kloss home. And his arraignment date, just so everybody's on the same page, is December 19th. So he will be back in court for robbing this home. And I don't know, I'm hoping that there's a judge. But I mean, honestly, what can the judge even do or say? Like, they can ask, but I mean, what is somebody who's a bad guy going to say when someone asks them if they did something bad, right? Probably, I didn't do it. Like, he's not going to be like, well, yeah, actually. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be some sort of incentive or something. I feel like if this guy went to jail, he might brag about something like that, and then that could get reported. Excuse me. Shelly, I think that, well, I don't know if he has her because I think they're pretty watching this guy now. But he lives in the same area as them and stuff too. And he worked at the same, that Jenny O's turkey manufacturer plant there. He worked at the same place. And I think that was with the husband. No, you don't agree, Shelly? Because he would not have come for clothes. Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, my back. Yeah, no, that's a decent point. Sorry, guys. The kidnapping that's going on these days is absolutely brutal. It's part of the reason why I'm fearful to travel, you guys. Like, I just see some of these crazy incidents that happen on like CCTV footage of like a van rolling up, and then like two or three people get out and like just grab somebody and throw them in the van and fly off, and nobody standing around does a damn thing. Everybody just looks at it like, oh, what happened? Because it's so fast. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's just crazy. And that there's so many people that are working together to make this happen, you know? Yeah, it might be his own sexual deviancy. You're right, Shelley. It might be. So much about stories and prominent people can be in charge of that operation. That is so true. And it is usually the higher ups that are in charge of that kind of a world, right? Kyle came to get her a change of clothes. That's exactly what it looks like. It looks like. So now my question is, did she leave voluntarily? Did she have something to do with the fact that her parents were shot so that she didn't have to live at home anymore or something? Is she maybe in a romantic relationship with someone who's older? I mean, this whole thing is like question after question after question of what could be happening. I'm staying in a condo not too far. Yes, I saw that Madeline case. But like, why would you leave your children sleeping and then go out for dinner? I mean, I could see going and sitting on the patio or in the other room, but to leave them and go across the veranda to another place, like that Madeline case was brutal. Like, what are you doing, parents? Like, what, everybody understands that you want to have a nice dinner or whatever, but talk about opportunity for the bad guy, right? All he needed to do was sort of watch their ways for a couple days, and bam, they took this girl. And like I said, you guys, people aren't killing these people anymore as much as it was like in the 70s and 80s. I feel like people were just, after they used or abused somebody, they would kill them to get rid of them because they didn't want, that person saying anything or whatever. Now I feel like they're not willing to kill anybody anymore. They just want to continue using and abusing and selling and transferring and like all kinds of heinous things with this. Nancy, I do work out pretty regularly. I stay active. The law needs to dig more into the people he knows, his family and friends. Nancy, I totally believe that you're right. Do they do the death penalty? Different state, state to state varies, but Colorado state does have the death penalty. Yes, there was a show I saw where they were planning on injecting fentanyl. Why would they inject fentanyl? Well, maybe to like relax them before they do the final dose to kill them. That's weird. I didn't know the guidelines they have on those. Well, as far as I knew, it was just. Well, I don't actually know. I won't. I don't really want to say. But what I thought that I knew was that it was just one dose. But maybe there is two. Maybe there is a relaxing one, and then there's the one that totally stops your heart. Some states have done away with the death penalty. Yeah. Yeah, I do stretches sometimes twice a day, Nancy. Apparently, Jamie Kloss's aunt has done an interview. Has anybody seen that interview? Or do they know where I could find that interview? Because I did not see that. Yeah, I realize that fentanyl overdoses cause death, dare to be different, but I don't think that that's how the jail system is administering the death penalty. I believe it's I don't know the exact medical term of what that dose is, but I know that they do get, one shot, and it's humane, and it just sort of stops, shuts you down, kind of thing. Your heart stops beating, you stop breathing, and you're dead. So, but I can't imagine that the system would give fentanyl for anything. First off, because it's an expensive pharmaceutical. So why would they give it away? That doesn't make any sense, right? Even if they are on like death row, I just don't see. I don't know though. I could be wrong. You're glad you got to join. Have to get ready for work. Yeah. Have a great day, Shelly. I hope you have a wonderful day. Lots of smiles. I hope it goes seamlessly. So Chris Watts is hopefully his plea, but he's in court this afternoon, and then the Turpins are in court at the end of this month, and then Kyle is in court next month, mid-month. So we have a few cases to follow on. But I would think that the robbery that happened by Kyle for this case, I would hope that they would be on top of looking through his devices, that would have been enough probable cause for them to get a search warrant to look into his things a little bit deeper, right? Selling for money, all about money. Yeah, selling for money. Well, it's quite the case, that's for sure. And it's quite interesting that this guy shows up. I don't even care that he was in women's clothing. What I care about is that he wasn't grabbing clothing that he could even fit. That's what doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe Chris Watts knew Chris Lingo. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that Chris Lingo case. Yeah, Elena, I don't know, to be honest with you. Your lips are chapped now. Bugging me. You have to go to work now, Nance? Okay. I hope you have a great day yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. You enjoyed the chat? Great. I will be on after the trial because I do want to do an update for whatever's happened, right? I don't know what's going to happen, but I do hope that there is some news today. Look into gay lover. Think might be a gay person, a woman. Elena. Okay, who are you talking about, Elena? You just watched that documentary last night, yeah. Shanann seemed to get more possessive of Chris. I don't know. Shanann seemed frustrated with Chris, right? Who wouldn't have been to find out that your husband is with someone else, you know? Well, and also the pay cut. She was sort of used to living. Excuse me. Sheesh. She was sort of used to living one type of a lifestyle, and then that dropped down substantially when he had to go down to like 60K a year, right? It was the Robert Dunham in Nevada case. Okay. Good night, Regine. It's oh wow, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Get some sleep, hon. It's Wednesday already over there. Okay. Go crash. Have a great night. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. And if you'd like to tune in, I'll be back Saturday. So, and then there'll be videos in the meantime. So, Christian Longo case. I think it was Lingo, wasn't it? Or maybe no, I think it was Longo actually. I think you're right. Dare to be different. It did give similar stories, yeah, but you know, like the autopsy reports are going to show something. You know what I mean? Especially, you're welcome, Regine, especially if he killed those girls before Shanann even got home, right? I mean, if that is what happened, like he's done for. Like there's no way that you can even justify killing your wife at that point if your girls were dead before she even got home. So I'm curious to know what those autopsy reports are going to state, you know, because there will be a little bit of a timeline, you guys. There is things that happen to a dead body after it dies. So like days, you know, even 24 hours, you guys, the body changes and a coroner is going to be able to see that. A coroner is going to be able to tell how long approximately, within approximation, not like dead on, but within approximation of when Celeste and Bella actually died. And I'm telling you, if it was before, you know, she arrived home, if there's no argument there, like they for sure were dead between, you know, this day and this time kind of thing, and it was with before Shanann got home, well, then he's screwed, right? Yeah, I don't know if Chris saw that story. I know he saw the Scott Peterson story. He actually had one of those, the magazine with it in there, which makes me wonder if he was kind of planning that in a sense, right? The coroner will be able to get some info from the stomach as well as the body itself, like if, you know, the rigor mortis, and then there's all kinds of other things that happen, right? I'm no, you know, pro or coroner expert, but I do know that there's, you know, those coroners are going to be able to see a timeline. And like I said, it's not going to be exact, but they're going to be able to tell, you know, if those girls were dead before the mom got home. I don't think that the oil wells are going to ruin anything. I think they will have to maybe weed through separating. And I think that that's going to be one hell of a job that they've probably already done. But I feel like that oil could have possibly preserved any DNA that was there. Because I even looked into the amount of acid that there was in these oil things, you know, and the amount of acid that is in there is so small. It's basically just to stop corrosion of this oil. So they need a little bit of it to sort of, you know, nullify that from, you know, corroding, like rusting. So, you know, it's not a huge amount of acid that would have just eaten away at them or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know why the prosecutors don't want the autopsy reports revealed. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe the oil ruined everything. And so there is no way to tell timeline or something like that. So maybe that looks like it could go in his favor. Who knows, right? We don't this that's a sheer guess right now, for real. Still can't believe that he could put his girls into the oil tanks, right? I mean, honestly, if he did actually do these accusations, like that's just brutal, you know, like to carry them up one by one. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that area, but the stairwell, it's huge, it's really big, and like it's super long, right? So it's not like he's going straight up, he's just going up on a slow incline to the top of these, oil uh canister. I want to call it a canister, these big freaking holders, right? Yeah, the defense is pushing for the autopsy release, which makes it look like maybe Chris Watts has some validity in his story, but that's why we all want to see what the hell is in there now, because is it even possible that it wasn't him? That's where we're all sitting, right? We all sort of think it really looks like it was him. He really looks guilty right now. But then these little things happen and makes it look like maybe he's not. And it's like, well, then who the hell is? You know? Chris planted Shanann's DNA on the girls. I don't know, man. I don't know. Even still, I feel like, especially if it was strangulation, I feel like they'd be able to tell the difference in the size of hands that did that. But I don't know anything about that kind of forensic testing stuff, like I'm no expert in that area. So I'm just throwing out thoughts and ideas as to what could be in those reports, right? Those particular oil tanks may have had like a tar asphalt material in them. I don't know. From the research that I did on Anadarko Company, I don't get that from there. I get that their oil is top grade and it's used all over, the world kind of thing. Who found the bodies? I believe it was the authorities that went and found the bodies. That wasn't actually in the arrest affidavit, though, because they didn't know where they were at that point. And I believe it was the drone that had flown over top that sort of, well, I think it was Shanann that was sort of found first, right? And then they just checked everywhere around there, and that's where they found girls. How could you see Bella blue and black on the? I know, right? Like that doesn't make any sense either. But then I was talking to a lot of you guys about baby monitors, and some of you guys told me that in the United States there are baby monitors that are colored monitors. So could they have had one of the top of the line baby monitors, and that's what he's saying that he saw? Because if it was a black and white screen where it's all kind of gray and stuff, I can't imagine he would have had too much detail from that, So that makes me think that they had like a better baby monitor. Who knows about baby monitors right now? Does anybody have friends or babies or know anybody recently been down that aisle in the store? I don't know. But maybe one of us knows something about these baby monitors out there, because I know that you guys have a lot. Like your technology, you guys get it a lot sooner than what we get it. We get it sort of after you guys try it. If it's good, then we get it, So maybe you guys have some of those high-tech baby monitors over there. What do you think he chose that area for the bodies? I think that he just chose it because that's where he worked. I mean, he was headed there. I don't think he really thought that all the way through. I think he just thought, he was going to go to work. So that's how that panned out in his mind. I don't know if we'll ever really understand, if he is the psychopath that he's accused of being. I don't know if we'll ever understand it. Sorry, what do you mean, Lisa? That yours was never, oh, for your baby monitor. Yeah, I too, but that was like 20 years ago for me. But yeah, the baby monitors didn't even have a visual. It was just sound. But that's all I used, you know. I know that technology has advanced. I just don't necessarily know about every aspect of it, right? It showed their monitor is black and white in the video unless they bought a new one. Interesting, Rhonda. So yeah, like it's just a whole lot more questions then as to why the prosecution's wanting to keep something closed that the defense is saying no, like let it out, release it. But maybe the defense doing that is trying to taint jury pool selection, is just trying to taint the world. Because if they can get the case thrown out, well, wouldn't that be good for Chris Watts, right? He doesn't have to pay for anything that he did if he did do all of this stuff. What do I think Chris knew? These tanks were not. Well, I think that he knew what was in those tanks because he worked at that place. You know, why he chose to put them in there, I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I feel like it was just hiding them, you know? But like it just his story doesn't add up with the fact that if Shanann killed them, why was he burying them in oil vats? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if someone kills your child, like that's the first thing is not like, oh, I got to hide this body. Like, the first thing is to get that child help, right? And save him or her if you can. And that's just not what he did. So it makes him look even more guilty because of his actions. You read he had to empty the tanks. No, I don't think he had to empty those tanks. Those tanks are huge, girl. There's no way he would have had enough time to do something like that. There's no way. Those things are huge. Have you guys ever seen like grain columbine things that hold like the extras? Well, that's the size of this thing. Like, it's massive. There's no way that he would have had any amount of time to drain that kind of thing and refill it. They will pull out, if anything, for desperation. Yes, you know, I feel like, yeah, they might just. Hopefully we find out some information today, because honestly it's long time coming and a lot of us are waiting to hear something. Yeah, he hid her phone. Well, it was found in the cushion of the upstairs, kind of like the attic area or whatever, the sitting room up there. And that was found in between the bedrooms, right? But I think she had two phones. Oh, really, Elena? There's a stepdad who killed two girls. Well, I mean, Rhonda, I believe that they just opened up the oil tanks and took them out, you know, and then at that point they would have had to go and clean them off and start their autopsy, right? But I wonder, you guys, if the drone was able, I think the drone would have been able to maybe see something, you know, floating in that oil columbine holder thing, whatever I'm gonna call it, you know. I think it only took like 20 minutes for him to get, like 20 minutes or half an hour for him to get from his home in Colorado to the Anadarko oil site. But then he did have to spend some time. Thanks for the thumbs up, you guys. I really appreciate the support. But then, you know, he had to find time to dig the grave for Shanann as well, right? The drone saw the bed sheet. Yes, it did. And that's where Shanann was found. Yes. You know what's interesting too is that part of that bed sheet or part of that bedding was found inside the trash can in the Watts home. So I wonder if there was anything on that, that would show what maybe happened to these three people. No, I don't think it would have been easy to Crazy Alex to carry it up there, but he was a fit guy, so, and they were little girls. I just think he wouldn't have had enough strength to do it three times to get Shanann up in there too. And to have to lift her, you know, into this thing like excuse me, dead body weight is probably pretty heavy, right? Hey, Destiny, just thought, thanks for the thumbs up. Really appreciate that, you guys. That's awesome. You think the drone comes in color? Maybe they did see color on the girls. Right, you're talking if the drone can see color, then maybe the baby monitor can see color. Yeah, oh, maybe. I didn't know. I haven't seen the opening of the tank. So that's a very good analogy there, Dare to be different. Yeah, so he had to bury her because he couldn't fit her in there, I guess. Yeah, the bed sheet. Yeah, it's actually in the arrest affidavit that they found bed sheets matching the bed sheets that she was buried in the garbage in the Watts home. Preparing for it. Yeah, it's possible. Hey, Rhonda, you lost a son years ago. I lost a sister to SIDS, Amanda G. So I totally know what that is like. Was to call 911. Absolutely, right? I mean, who wouldn't call for help the second that you see or hear that someone is hurt or whatever? I am sorry for your loss too, hun. Arraignment, yeah. When you plead guilty or not guilty, let's do it, right? I mean, let's bring it on, man. Hopefully today's the day, but SIDS is very scary because one minute they're breathing and the next they're not. And if anybody's had babies, knows that babies breathe kind of erratically. So they'll like, and then they kind of hold it for a minute maybe, and then so if you're not right there by the baby monitor kind of thing, you might not hear that stop, right? You get busy, you're cleaning, whatever. My sister was revived with CPR, and she was alive on the way to the hospital and then died again. So too bad. I know I've personally missed her my whole life. I really wish that I would have had a sister. That would have been something really, really awesome. Nice, a close person that you can relate with and get along with and do coffees and lunches and shopping and just chatting, right? Because that's what us women do best. First instinct should be to call 911. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. His worry for the child stating that Shanann did what she did, and then his actions on that just don't match up. Yeah, I hope we'll know some more today too, her Destiny. You love this channel? Aw, thanks, Amanda. It caused a lot of PTSD, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, very sorry for your loss. I just try to remember or think that they're in a better place and they're happy. We're a team of justice and support for this mom and kids. I love it. That's so great. It really bothered me. Some of my viewers thought that I was, victim shaming Shanann or, bad mouthing her or whatever. I mean, I'm just observing her in general. And I still think it's brutal that she had to lose her life over whatever it is, her husband or whatever he was going through. I would never victim shame Shanann Watts. I never would think that it was okay, that this happened. Do I think that she could have maybe done some things differently to avoid this? For sure. Is it too late? Absolutely. But we can still talk about that amongst ourselves in hopes of helping the next woman avoid something like this, right? I don't know. Personally, it made me check myself when I saw some of her videos. I've acted even worse than her with boyfriends in the past. I've been even more brutal than her. So I looked at it like, holy crap, that could have been me with a guy that got fed up, or you know what I mean? Like, honestly. And it just made me reevaluate myself a little bit. And so like never would I victim shame her, but I am discussing every aspect of their life, And so I might ask you guys questions like, what do you think? Do you think this, or do you think that, or what, But that doesn't mean that I'm on his side at all. I am completely neutral until I see this evidence. I need to see these autopsy reports. And until then, I'm just discussing them, their life, how they were, what they did, how they acted, and trying to dissect some of it, and understand it. I think he's going to have a really hard time in prison too, Free Me Life. You love my channel? Thanks, Rhonda. Morning, Amy. It is 10 o'clock, so you're right. You're okay. Sorry about my sister. You'll be my sis. That's awesome. Online sisters. Have I seen the Miss Mensa channel? No, I haven't. She's convinced Chris was an abused husband. Aw. You know what? I don't care. That's no excuse. Nobody deserves to lose their life, And I don't know. Maybe she's gone through things in her life that's preventing her from being neutral, which is sad, right? But to each their own, whatever. I choose to be neutral. I choose to be in the middle. I choose to wait for proof, but that's just me, And so my viewers, I just want you guys to understand me and where I'm coming from. But some people, like, they've listened to a video, like one, and then they heard a question from me about Shanann and immediately, instantly thought she's victim shaming. She's on Chris Watts' side. And then they start bashing me. And it's like, hold up, wait a minute. You don't even know the whole thing of what I feel right now. And you're looking at one question on one video. You know what I mean? You can't judge from that. And if you are, then I unfortunately think you're pretty shallow and you should take yourself somewhere else. I don't want you watching my videos. Like, honestly. I don't think I could say that any more clearer to let people know how in the middle and neutral I am. So when I wake up sometimes and I've got a new viewer who's popped on and saw one question on one video and is automatically shitting all over me because they think that I'm on his side or her side or whatever, I'm like, whoa, that's not the case at all. Like, I'm just asking questions about what's happened with this family, what's happened with these people, and what do you guys think? So finances, I totally agree. I totally agree are a huge thing. And Chris could have left the relationship. But I think that that's probably one of the bigger factors in their relationship that sort of caused for it to start deteriorating. Like I said, they were living one sort of a lifestyle and that dropped down. And, adding a third child, I think that the financial stress for Chris Watts was a little too overwhelming. You let it, well said, Joanne says. That's awesome. Thanks, girl. I think that she probably thought he was never capable of doing something like that either. But doesn't that make you reevaluate how you act, how you are in your relationship with your partner, because you don't know how they're going to eventually act, or maybe who they are deep down underneath, right? It's kind of scary. So I like to talk about that stuff with guys, You think I'm right, Dare to Be Different? He gave no indication that he was capable of murder. Exactly. That's what makes it so scary, because he seemed so normal and he didn't seem like somebody who'd be psychotic like this. You never got that impression of me, Ellen? That's great. And I'm sure there's a lot of my viewers that don't get that impression. But like I said, there's some that come on and they just sort of pick like one video, they hear one thing. Like I got a message from a girl today. She said that she stopped watching my video at a minute 34 and she wasn't trying to be rude, but I need to go and reevaluate what I was thinking and saying because it sounds like I'm victim shaming. And I'm like, no, like you watched a minute and a half of one freaking video and you're going to gather all of that from that? Like, that's not even fair. So I'm sorry. I don't feel like I have to reevaluate myself. I feel like I already know where I'm coming from and I know that I'm neutral. I know I'm waiting for that proof. But in the meantime, I'm totally going to talk about every aspect of this case. And if that means talking about their personal life, I'm totally on that, you know? And I feel like we should be evaluating ourselves. We should be looking at this like, if this could happen to her and them, this could happen to any of us. That's what I think. This is why you love my channel. We see both sides. Yes, that's true, you know. We do want the truth, but we have to wait for the proof. You know, I feel like you can't have the truth without the proof. It's a little rhyme there, but for real. He might be a very nice looking guy, you know, but that doesn't matter about anything, right? Yeah, his interview, Vicky, was very cold, you know, and weird. Like and the cadaver dogs, like hollering in the background, just like, I don't know. It couldn't have made him look more guilty, in my opinion. But I still want to see the proof. I still want to see the autopsy reports. I want to see the evidence. Oh, Ray Holt. We're talking about Chris Watts at the moment. We were talking about Jamie Kloss and her missing. Did you read where he had a Bible and a picture? I did read that, Rhonda. And that's what's weird, too. That's just kind of another unanswered weird thing, right? If he did actually commit these crimes, why is he holding on to a photo of them in his 4x6 cell? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, if on the Watt case there's some kind, yes, there is, Ray Holt. There's a hearing today. I'm hoping that we actually have a plea today, but I fear that he's going to plead bargain this and we're not going to get a trial. That's what I fear. Which, whatever, I guess, right? At least if we could get some more information. Don't worry, Sherry, it's happening to other ladies in their channels. Oh, really? Is it? Still annoying. Yes, it is. We need to be level-headed and open-minded. I agree with you. Like, and some people are just like, wow, and it's like, holy cow, like, slow down, lady, or slow down, man. Like, there's really no need to jump all over me when you've watched a minute and a half of one thing and you heard one question and now all of a sudden you think you know everything that I'm thinking or feeling and you're going to completely like crap all over me. Like, I don't. Whatever, I can take it and I can answer it and I can even defend it, but is it necessary, people? Or do you think that maybe you might be able to watch like 1 or 3 videos in full before you actually decide to comment something on what I'm thinking and feeling? Like, holy cow. So yeah, he was a decent looking person, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, if he's this psycho and he's done this wrong, you know, he might be playing the victim, Ellen. You might be right about that, you know? And the family picture for optics. Well, that's a good analogy. Dare to be different. I like Scott Reich. Ray Holt. I really like Scott Reich. He is a lawyer in Colorado. So not only does he get to go and listen in on some of these things that are happening, he can actually dissect emotions a lot better for us, you know? I feel like because I'm not actually practicing in like a legal office somewhere, I don't have all of the all of that knowledge forefront in my mind. So I often have to go back to my books. I got to go into and research some things before I can even, do a video in full for you guys, because I don't fully know what some of those things are. There's a lot to the legal field, you guys, like a lot. So, sometimes I got to go back and look back on it. Whereas he has been a practicing criminal lawyer for the past 25 years, I think it was, or 23 years or something like that. So a long time. And so very, very knowledgeable. And I really enjoy his broadcasts. Like he's really good. Quickly updates. Yeah, 2 p.m. Yeah, he's so lucky because he's right there. So he gets to just pop into the courts like right there. I'm so funny. Hey, Rhonda. Yeah, sometimes something's wrong with people, Ellen. I feel like they jump to conclusions and they jump to assumptions. They hear one thing and they just fly with it. And it's like, whoa, you know, you could look into this a little bit more. Yeah. It seems like he is victim playing there for sure. Absolutely upstanding defense attorney, Ray Holt. You're right. I think he's really cool. I would really love to work with a lawyer like Kathleen Zellner, though. Like, she's doing amazing things, right? She's the one that's working the Stephen Avery case, and she's the one who's like going and overturning these wrongful convictions on people who are sitting in jail for things they didn't do. You're disappointed it isn't going to be aired. Well, are you surprised though? I mean, right from the beginning, all of the news crews were trying to petition with the courts to be able to cover this, and every single one of them was turned down. So, I mean, are we really shocked? Sorry, you guys, my lips are chapped. But yeah, no, there's some pretty intelligent people out there. I pride myself, you guys, on being neutral, very middle of the line, unless I see some proof, right? And once I see the proof, well, then I'll spit my opinion, right? Yeah. Yeah, not surprised. I know, like when I saw that they just kept denying each station, I was just like, oh, here we go. Because if his family's in military or law enforcement or whatever, they're going to want to keep a lot of his case quiet. How much are we going to find out? Well, I'm hoping we're going to find out exactly what happens in that courtroom today, hun. I don't know if we will get exactly what happens, but if we can find out what he's going to plea today, that will give us a better insight as to what's going to happen going forward for the 19th. Aquaphor for chap lips. I usually just use Vaseline, but it's all the way in the other room, and I don't really want to just get up and walk away. I did that the last time, right? I went and got something. Oh, I think it was the affidavit or something that I wanted to read. You think some cases protect family emotional? Yeah, that's possible, Ray. I think that it's more plausible that it has something to do with the background of the Watts family. I found, as I told you guys in the past, I found pictures of the family in Germany. So they were connected with, it looks like one of the wars or something. So, you just don't know what this family has done in their past, who they've served, what's under their belts, really. Chris is concerned that media is portraying him as a monster. Well, what did he expect? Exactly. Dare to be different. If he is accused of all of this, like, exactly, what did he expect? And if he did this, he is a monster. Like, it's pretty cut and dry. You could have gotten a divorce. You could have walked away. You could have even just disappeared yourself. I mean, no, I'm not saying that he needed to kill himself. I'm just saying, how many other situations do people hear of, my dad left to go to the store and he never came back? Like, I mean, he could have left and started his own life somewhere else, but like, this should have never been an option if he did this. If he killed them, this should have never been an option. Yes, the military background. I found pictures of it, you guys. I did some digging and I still have that information. But I'm kind of respecting the family because everybody kind of jumped down my throat when I showed the public this. People thought that the public was going to turn around and go after this Watts family, accusing them, giving them death threats. I don't know. Like, what's wrong with people? Like, seriously, do you really think that it's the parents' fault that an adult person made some shitty ass choice to take someone's life? Do you really think that that's the parents' upbringing fault? Because honestly, I don't. I feel like, you know, even if you're an abused child, you make a choice. You choose to continue to abuse other people or you choose to change. And that's a choice that you make as an adult. That's nobody's parenting that they did. I mean, it's great to find out the history on how he was raised and stuff like that, but that has nothing to do with his own choices as a grown man, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So why would anybody death threat the family due to Chris Watts's choices? Like, that makes no sense. You know, he had 5 weeks while Shanann was on vacation. Agree, he would not have been the first one to walk away. I feel really horrible for both families too. I mean, not only did they both lose their grandchildren, they both lost their children, right? Like, Shanann's parents have lost her, she's gone. And now Chris Watts' family's lost him because he's in jail, like, forget family gatherings and all that. Like, let's go down to the Colorado jail. Like, seriously, like, what are they going to do? Let's bring the tree. Like, both families are completely ruined. Absolutely. And they're both suffering. You're right about that, Rhonda. Shanann was not alive and put the girls where we know Shanann was not alive to put the girls where was found. Yeah, well, we don't actually know that information for 100% sure until we see the autopsy reports, Ray. In my opinion, we don't actually know that. Yes, it is about choice. Parenting may not help, you're right, but it is the adult's choice. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, okay, so you might have been abused and, like, I don't know, you guys. I've been through a fair share of abuse in my own life, and I'm telling you, it's a choice. You can choose to carry on that angry lifestyle and abuse other people, or you can choose to better yourself and get some help, whether that's counseling or, you know what I mean, mediation or whatever, to better yourself in order to not, act inappropriately, in my opinion. And I also think that people, should be growing up. I mean, honestly, right? You sort of evolve, right? Like, when I was younger, I had a super short fuse. I got instantly mad about everything. I was defensive. As I grew older, it became more angry. Things that happened out of my control, things that you have to learn how to let go of in order to live life, Both families have to hide. In a sense, yes, but possible he has the keys to unlock the oil tanks. Were they locked? Because I don't know if those things are locked. It is a choice, yeah. You're neutral. The Mensa channel is comparing the double standard with how men and women are treated in abuse situations. Interesting. Well, I think that nobody deserves to be mistreated. Nobody deserves to be belittled, name called, undermined. I do think that she was right to call out Chris Watts on that checkers game that they were playing outside, and he just bold-faced cheated and stuff. Like, I probably would have said something if that was my husband too, but I probably would have been a little bit more joking about it at the same time as I was not going to let him cheat, But I feel like she knew about some of the other things that he was doing that was inappropriate in his life. And that's why she lost a lot of respect for him and was able to belittle him and mistreat him and just undermine him. He made it easy at that point because he was cheating, because he was turning away from their relationship, to warrant some of that, mistreatment in a sense. But I think Shanann probably just didn't really want to walk away from the marriage at the same time as she didn't want to accept what he was doing either. You've not heard about Shanann's mom, only dad. I think Shanann's mom is a mess. Like, they were brutally close. She did the Thrive with her. She was always patching up with her. Pictures. They were always together. Her and her mom were really close. So I would imagine that her mom is just, sheer depressed trying to deal with this, this loss. It must be huge on her heart, right? You were physically abused by your mother. You never hit your kids, but your brother did. See, that's what I mean, right? So as an adult, Ellen, you sort of made that choice, a conscious choice that you didn't want to do what was done to you, whereas your brother carried on what he knew, But neither is really an excuse to blame the parenting, in my opinion, I used to do that when I was younger too. And I feel like, if we make mistakes as parents, you know what, own it. Like, whatever. Each parent makes their own mistakes. But some parents aren't able to admit that they've made any mistakes. They feel like every single decision that they've ever made has been 1,000% right on. My parents personally are like that. They think that everything that they've done has been, 100% bang on. They don't feel that anything that they've done was wrong. Whereas I disagree with some of those things, Like, specifically, you guys, to let you in on a little bit of my life. When I was young, my parents put Tabasco sauce on my fingers and thumbs because they wanted me to stop sucking my thumbs, to not have my teeth all crooked and whatever, right? But then they locked me in my room. So, like, my mouth was burning because I would suck it as a, form of comfort. And, now I'm locked in my room and I can't get out and I'm crying. I found that to be a little bit extreme and excessive in order to curb a habit. They don't think that was extreme. They don't think that there was anything wrong with that. So, to each their own, but at the same time, we may disagree, right? Oh my goodness, I didn't see the Thrive patches under the eyes. That's kind of crazy. Mensa states Shanann has Murchison by proxy. What is Murchison? Can you explain that, Lisa? She may have been really pregnant nor had any health issues, not making any money at Thrive. I definitely think the finances played a part in their life not really working out, right? Record calls where parents call after harming or killing families. Yeah, that's true, eh, Ray? I don't think, Rhonda, I don't think that Shanann was making very much money at Thrive. And from my experience from MLM companies, most of your profits go back into the company in order to get more product. And if she was constantly giving out free samples and stuff, that would have cost them money. But she definitely wasn't making a huge amount of money, in my opinion. I wonder if it was hard for Shanann to sell Thrive. Well, she didn't seem to have a huge, following in the business, but it wasn't small. I mean, it wasn't like 10 people, but it wasn't hundreds either, Oh, no matter what, she didn't deserve to die. I 1,000% agree with that. In no way, shape, or form is whoever did this actions okay with me, You were called names for appearing to be Team Chris, and you were not even being that way. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with people. I feel like they jump to conclusions and they really just don't take the time to really hear someone's opinion out. So they just fly with it, you know. They hear or see one little thing and they're like, "Oh, that's totally what you think 100%," and they run with it. Yeah, there was so many other options for him, Lisa. You're right. And it's weird that he chose, to kill them. Like, if he is alleged to have done this, like, this is brutal. That Murchison theory is nonsense. I don't know what the heck I don't even think I'm saying that word right, you guys. She was a committed salesperson. That's true. I love her hustle and her drive. Yeah, Elena, I feel like she was misdiagnosed by her doctor, and that's why she was able to have three pregnancies. But what is this Murchison? I'm hoping that somebody's going to explain that. I'm going to have to look it up after, but it said that they receive free products for their sales from. Yeah, I don't know if they would have received free product, to be honest with you. I mean, what happens is when someone else orders under you, it gives you a credit. So basically, that's the MLM company just doing a 2-for-1. You know what I mean? So they're slashing their prices by giving her a bit and her a bit because she bought some, so she's gonna get some for free. That's kind of how that works. I wish autopsies reports were not sealed. Police did. A district attorney, is that district attorney, had to verify she was pregnant to charge Chris. Um, yeah, well, I mean, she was only 15 weeks, but she's still pregnant, right? Pronounced Munchausen, okay, is saying your kids are sick when they are healthy. It's a mental disorder where a parent will make their children sick in order to be a great caregiver. Oh my gosh. I hope that's not something my mom has. Cheese and rice. She's the one who has my daughter. Jeez. Great to come chat live. Take care, Sherry. Joanna, have a great day, hon. Well, the kids had, like, I know that she took them in for chiropractic realigning of their spine. And then I know that there was treatments for something and there was an allergy. Now, I don't know exactly what those treatments were for, though. Chris had a psych evaluation. Did he? Because if he did, I'd like to know what that says. But I noticed your question mark. I don't think he has had um, one, unless he's had one now that he's in jail, right? Purposefully making kids sick for attention. Shanann did not do that. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah. Bye, Joanna. Have a great day, girl. But that sounds like a pretty brutal thing. I'll have to look into this Munchausen just to see what the heck this really is, but it should be in the medical reports for the kids, but we'll just have to wait and see what kind of information they give us for today, right? Keep up the good work. That's great of her. Thanks, girl. So, anybody else have any last minute, comments or things that they'd want to talk about? Ray Holt, you're saying attention seeker, like the parent is the attention seeker trying to make the child sick, and if so, how are they doing that? Is that a mental thing or what the heck? Yes, he did it all. Yeah. No, I know what you meant about the psych evaluation. I just don't know if he's actually had one of those yet. I would imagine maybe yes, in jail, right? He probably would have already met with some specialists. And that probably would have been from either the defense or the prosecution, right? Trying to keep his medical records sealed. Well, yeah, the HIPAA law will protect minors. That's true. Very suicidal. Yeah. As far as I know, he's still on suicide watch. And I feel like that will probably continue until after he's sentenced at the very least. I think that probably after that, they'll fall back from monitoring that as closely. Because if he kills himself before trial, we're never going to have any answers, right? So they have to monitor him pretty freaking closely right now. It is mental, like the mom who said her daughter had cancer. Like the mom who said her daughter had cancer. I don't know. I don't know which mom that was. Sorry, Rhonda. Suicide. So he doesn't have to deal with it. Yeah, I feel like it's probably eating away at him if he did actually do this. He's sitting, in very, very tight space right now. All he really has to do is think. So, you know, it'd be great if they gave him like I was gonna say like a pen and paper, pencil and paper, right? To let him doodle or something. Maybe he'll doodle out something that could pertain to this case, that's stuck in his mind or whatever. But I'm sure they're not going to give him anything. As far as I know, he has nothing in his cell. He has no TV. He gets no gym time. He has no extra nothing. It was a big story, Rhonda, about this mom who said her daughter had cancer. He had a jail psychologist, stand suicide watch. Oh, okay, Ray. Well, thank you for that information. I did not know that that was the protocol, but it makes sense, if they're going to be if they're going to have suicidal thoughts, that they would have to meet with a psychologist. I'm now wondering, though, is that kind of information pertinent to the public? Are we ever going to get to see that? Or is that something that's sort of included in his medical records where that'll get sealed for privacy, doctor patient confidentiality? Oh, it's the state law requires it after 72 hours. Well, that's good to know. I'm so curious, Ray. Are you somebody that's in law enforcement or in the judicial system at all in any way? The guy on 411 said he gets to go out. He only gets like an hour, you guys, and that's an hour to go outside, do his phone calls, and shower. And I think he only gets like a small amount of time outside. And he's monitored literally all the time. A Munchausen mom will spend a lot of their time in the ER or hospitals or doctor's visits. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that the oil thing is locked. But I wonder if that's ever, that report that was done, if that's ever something that we're going to be able to see or read or whatever. I'd love to know what his psychological analysis was. I personally have had a couple of those done myself because of people, immediate families, stating inappropriate things about myself that I was just like, seriously, I'm going to go get this checked out because I really don't feel, that I have a double personality disorder or, bipolar or things like that. And when I went and did my psychological analysis, I was told that I was a clean bill of health. Like there's nothing mentally wrong with me. I've been through a lot of traumatic things, but there's nothing mentally wrong with me. So I was really like, I almost didn't want to believe the first report, like, okay, fine. So I got one. So I went and did another one at a completely different place, completely different area. completely different part of my province, just to get another, take or a second opinion, if you will. And yeah, no, I definitely have a normal clean bill of health. So why, my mother would say that to me over the course of my life, I have no idea, because I feel like that's mentally messing with somebody. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing saying that to your only daughter? And if I'm that way and I came from you, what are you? So I don't know. Personally, I was really happy to see those two clean bills of health. That I've just been through a lot of traumatic things, and I'm a very open, articulate person. I wear my heart on my sleeve, but I definitely don't have any mental disorders. So I was like, well, thank you. I didn't think so, but I really needed to get a professional opinion here, because, this is what's being thrown at me like every year. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't even know me then, if that's what you think of me. Like, wow. Wow, lady. Oh my gosh. If he's found to have psychological unfit to stand that, yeah, I don't think he's going to be found to be unfit to stand trial. Hi, Rumpelstiltskin. Oh, your family's in law enforcement, Ray. Oh, that's great. You too, Rhonda. I don't understand the methods of the madness to somebody saying something like that to someone else repeatedly over years. Like, are you trying to convince me that I'm not okay? Because I'm pretty sure I'm okay. Like, whatever though. To each their own. You want to think that I'm freaking crazy or something? Go for it. Like, I don't even care, because I know that I'm okay. Hi, Deb. Nothing wrong with having mental health issues. There really isn't. I deal with depression. It's just like, to have your mother saying that to you throughout your life, it just really makes you evaluate yourself. Like, what is wrong with me? And so, like, I had to get it professionally checked, because I just couldn't believe the things I was being accused of having. I was like, this is not, like, oh man, this is not what's happening, but okay. But having mental issues doesn't make one a murderer. Yes, that's true too. That's true. Twins, Sherry. That's awesome, Rhonda. Hi, Marty Parton. How are you? Your mom. My mom once. What? Ellen, I can't read your thing. It says, my mom owns. He asked me how I raised such beautiful children. And I said to her, I did everything opposite from you. Aw, cheese whiz, eh? I believe everyone Ray has rough days. Mental has so many legal meanings nowadays. No kidding, right, Ray? That's really true. But the specific mental things that were being told to me was double personality disorder and bipolar disorders. So I just went to go and get professional clean bills of health to find out if this had any truth to it, and it really didn't. And I didn't feel that it did, so it was just solidifying what I felt, and I proudly carry those reports, It's like, get out of here, mom. Like, whatever. I don't even really feel like I can call her that, because she has never really been a mom in my life. She dropped out of my life at 15, and she never really came back to do any motherly duties with me at all. And she didn't really do a very good job when I was growing up, in my opinion. Narcissists use gaslighting. Yeah. As for the Munchausen disorder, which is now known as fictitious disorder, Shanann did not have this. And the suggestion, no, I don't know if we were suggesting Shanann did. I think we were more talking personal things, but I'm not sure that Shanann had any, if that there was any truth about this, disorder, sickness, and doctor's visits and all this kind of stuff. I don't know about that. I think she genuinely really cared about her girls, and she wanted to make sure that, every aspect of them was okay. I'm pretty sure that the anaphylactic allergies with her daughter would have freaked her out. I know it would have probably freaked me out to see your child convulsing and not know what the hell's wrong with them, or. So no one wants that attention. I'm sorry, Lisa, what are you talking about what we would never do in the Canadian medical system? What are you talking about? Yeah, I think she was a normal mom that just, really tried to stay on top of everything. She made the doctor's visits that she needed to make. I don't think she was in there excessively. Munchausen. Oh, okay, Lisa, you're talking about that disorder or whatever. People were saying that was the Thrive. Some of those ingredients in that Thrive, you guys, on that caffeine high, I could imagine that putting somebody kind of on edge. Because not all of those things were good to really put in your system, right? The vitamins, yeah. She was OCD. She really liked everything in its own place and whatnot. And I mean, each house sort of runs the way that the person who lives in it wants it to run, right? She did admit to being OCD. Yeah. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with a clean house. I personally like a really clean house. Yeah, kind of like the energy drinks, exactly. Yeah, you're really really high and then you're just like really really crashed and moody and you need another one. You know what I mean? To keep going. On her videos. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that we've got some more information this afternoon. Let's hope that let's hope we hear not guilty. He's going to plead not guilty and we're going to go forward with the trial and we're going to get to hear everything, but I fear that he's going to plead guilty and try to get this over with. Which I hope that the Turpins don't do either. But that's the thing about court. Like the prosecution's going to have to present every piece of evidence that they're going to try to use against them in order to give them a chance to decide if they think that they can fight it and win or not. So espresso products, yeah. Well, today we did a really long live. I've never done like the almost the full 2 hours. So, hi, Lena. How are you, girl? You made it. We did a lot of broad talking today. We talked about Kyle Annis. We talked about Chris Watts. And we've talked about Jamie Kloss. So, looking forward to more. Yes, much love, Rhonda. I hope you have a wonderful day. Yes, Vicky, I agree. She was a good mom. She was very on top of it. I think the girls probably could have gone for more of the trips, but whatever, right? Mom needs time too, right? So, and I understand that. You've been listening, Elena? Yeah, it has been suggested on other channels amongst other derogatory things. Yeah, it really sucks that people are one side or the other. Where people think that Shanann was just totally wrong in everything that she did, and then other people think that Chris Watts is completely guilty in all of this. So personally, I pride myself on staying in the middle and being neutral until I can see that evidence and proof. Yes, Scott Reich. And if you guys haven't tuned into Scott Reich, he's an amazing lawyer in Colorado. I really like him. I think he's really informative, and his abilities to dissect the motions a little bit better than even I can, you guys. So I really enjoy him doing that with us. I think it gives us a bit of an insight to the court order on things because as I stated, even though I have a legal diploma, it is a lot to retain and remember. And I often need to go hit back on my books. I need to look back to see what some of these answers are. Scott Reich is an amazing lawyer. He's right in Colorado, and he's able to actually dip into the court and just sit there for, a few minutes, listen to what's being said, and then he can come and update us on, the proceedings and stuff like that. So yes, hopefully in 6 hours there are some answers. I think I'll have it a little bit sooner, but then 6 hours, Ray, just so you know. Scott is very professional, Lori. I really like him. And he's a practicing criminal lawyer. So, that's an amazing thing to have, right? So if there's any last minute questions, I know I said that a few minutes ago, but I am going to wrap this up in the next, 5-10 minutes here. So if there's any last minute thoughts, opinions, or anything you'd like to say. Thanks, Dare to Be Different. I am different from Scott Reich, but he is great in his own expertise. Like, I cannot deny that at all, you guys. I don't think I'd really want to watch the other channel that Lisa mentioned, of that lady who's all about sort of deteriorating Shanann Watts. I'm certainly not all about deteriorating anybody. I just want to know the truth and the facts and the proof and the evidence. So thanks, Alan. He's going to trying to be present at the hearing today. Yes, Ray. Scott Reich is going to try to pop into that hearing today for us and dissect some of that for us. So let's hope that we get some crucial information as to what's going to happen or what's to come for the 19th. And maybe even a plea today. Who knows? Well, they're not going to withhold it from Chris, Lisa. They have to show him. Otherwise, they're setting themselves up for a mistrial, because that's a Brady law violation to not disclose all of the evidence that the prosecution has against the defendant. So to open yourself up to a Brady law violation would just be stupid. I don't think the prosecution would do something like that. Therefore, they are going to hand over all of that information, all of that proof, all of the evidence to Chris Watts and his lawyer for them to decide whether or not they think they can fight this and win or not. That's their goal, is to see if they can win or not. But I have to be objective. I enjoy being objective and being middle of the line and not having myself swayed one way or the other. That's why I don't just totally run with whatever's happening in the media, because not only does the media embellish some things, they don't always get everything right. I mean, look at the way the gay lover came out, tenfold. Every freaking channel had this guy on there almost, and it was a lie. It wasn't even true. So, I feel like we can't necessarily just rely on the media, because they don't always give it to us. They are looking for those views for the money that they're going to get for that. So it makes sense that they're trying to, pull us in to watch this, right? But at the same time, if you don't have the evidence to prove what you're saying, how can you know what you're saying is even true? Oh, thanks, Ray. I really appreciate the notifications button. It would be great if you guys subscribed if you haven't already, and let yourselves click the little bell, let yourselves know when I'm on. And the thumbs up, you guys are great. I really appreciate the support. It's really nice of you. You hope he has an emotion today. Hey, Lahina. Hey, who knows? Probably not, though. Don't be surprised if you don't get one. The defense seems to be ready to go to the full mile. I wonder if the prosecution is going to go for the death penalty or not. What time is it? It's almost 11 in the morning. I started at 9. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon there. It's wine time for you, Rumpelstiltskin. I'm just bugging. They are filing motions left and right. Yeah, I do have to go back onto the Colorado Judicial website just to see what else has been posted. Before they can pass it over to the fence, they must verify the information. Absolutely true, Ray. They do need to verify the information before they pass it over. But they also cannot withhold any of that information, before getting into court. Like they can't surprise them by presenting something that the defense doesn't already know about. Because, like I said, that's a Brady law violation. They have to show everything that they have before they get there, kind of thing. They can't pull out any surprises while they're in there, you know? So in Colorado, it's going on 10 a.m. So there's just an hour's difference for you and me. Hey, Ray? But this has been really, really great chatting, you guys. I really enjoy our interactions, a couple times a week where we're just able to rehash some of this stuff and talk it out. Yeah, he is always really stone faced, but I mean, who wouldn't be in this whole situation? Honestly, it's 11:53, so you're an hour ahead, Lahaina, in Montreal. That's awesome. And I mean, feel free to, if any of you guys don't follow me on Facebook and you'd like to, maybe shoot me a message and let me know that you'd like to be friends on Facebook, and then I can add you, because I have so many hundreds and hundreds of friend requests, you guys, and I've almost reached my max that, like, I can't keep accepting. Excuse me. I can't keep accepting just anybody and everybody, because I'm filling up fast. So if you're somebody who wants to come and join me on Facebook as well, I do like a brief announcement letting people know, like, tomorrow's our live, or our live's happening in an hour or whatever. So if you're somebody who's missed those in the past and you'd like to hear that announcement, shoot me a message and let me know, and I can add you from my end. Because like I said, with the hundreds that I have built up, it's so hard to go through and find which ones are the people that are following me on YouTube that would like to follow me on Facebook, and vice versa. So hopefully we connect well, and everybody gets a chance to say what they want to say. I hope nobody holds back, like, I am not a judgmental person. So even if you do think that Shanann is 100% at fault, or you do think that Chris is 100% at fault, I'm okay with that. And we can talk about it. We can agree to disagree here. We don't have to feel like you can't say your piece, because I would like for everybody to feel comfortable and welcome in order to do that. So yes, I'm going to wrap this, guys, up, and I will be back Saturday between 9 and 11, same time. So that's Central GMT time, just so everybody's aware. If you want to look up what that 9 and 11 is for you guys, where you are for your timeline, then that would be great. But I hope that everybody has a wonderful day. You too, Lahaina. You guys are awesome. Love you all. Love the support of the thumbs up, and I hope you guys have a really wonderful day. Stay tuned for more news on Chris Watts's case later on. Can I start a page on Facebook? Like, what do you mean? Because I do have a page on Facebook. Oh, you mean like start like a secondary page? Yeah, I do have some other ones that I started, like for nails and other things, but I guess I could look into starting something, or maybe, or just even getting into my second profile, because I do have two profiles. I made a secondary one when I was in my legal course last year. They had sort of asked us if we would be proud of the social media accounts that we have. Would we be proud to show those to future employers? And if not, well, in general, as an assignment, they wanted us to make a secondary profile. So I did actually make a secondary profile. I just don't use it very much. I think there's, like literally under 100 people on there, So I guess I could tap into that one as well. So it wouldn't really matter which one you're friending at that point, But thank you, Ray. I really appreciate your support. I really, really appreciate all your guys' comments and the chatting. Love the champagne glasses, Rumpelstiltskin. That's great. No, hun, don't worry about missing the live. At least if you know what time it happens at every week between 9 and 11, Tuesdays and Saturdays, maybe, it will work out time wise for you to join us during that time. So, but it might be too early, I'm noticing, like, because when it's like 10 here, it's like 7 there. So you're going to have to get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, no, like, that's a little ridiculous for just a live. But you can always catch the last bit of it, I guess, if you're up by 7, right? So I really appreciate all you guys joining, and I hope we can all get together again Saturday and do some more chatting. And I hope you guys all have a great day, okay? And my name on Facebook is exactly the way you see it on YouTube, just Sherry Wiens, okay? So you guys have a great and wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. Bye for now.